You know, if you've landed on this website, you're probably scared. And I understand fear. I understand fear when it comes to criminal defense because you've been arrested. Something's happened to you that's probably never happened to you, and that is scary. Fear of the unknown, that's one of the biggest driving human factors. So I realize with you in this condition and how you feel, it's part of my job right from the beginning when we sit down and we meet and we talk about your case to start to give you your peace of mind back, to start to give you your control back.
In 2006, I had a family emergency where a relative of mine was arrested and I did not know what to do. I didn't know who to call, I didn't know who to talk to, and I jumped on the internet and I found the Hedding Law Firm. I gave them a call, and straight from the first phone call, I was completely taken care of.
And you know what that's done through? Understanding how the system works, educating you on it, getting a goal in mind related to your case. In other words, saying, you know what? Here's what we're going to do to defend you. Here's what you can look forward to. So when you leave that first meeting, you say, you know what? I feel better. I understand what I can do to help the attorney. I understand what that attorney's going to do to help me. And that's a beautiful thing for me because my talent in life, and we all have our talents, it's helping people in your situation to get your freedom back, to get your rights back, to get your control back, to start to turn the tide in your favor, to tell your story. A lot of times there's a one-sided investigation done. It's not fair. Your version of events has to come out, whether that be in a jury trial, whether that be talking to the judge, the prosecutor. It's my job as your champion to get your version of events out.
Out in front of the criminal court building, client charged with a very old felony, looking at some serious time in custody, but we prepared the case. We were ready with a very strong defense today. In one of the main courts in downtown, 210 West Temple, getting a dismissal for a client. He's now free and can move on with his life. Out in front of the San Fernando courthouse, jury trial. Client was charged with murder related to reckless driving on the road that resulted in a death. We were able to show that the conduct did not rise to the level of a murder charge.
Ron, he commands the courtroom. He talks to people directly and honestly, and he demands respect, and he gets it both from the district attorney, from the judges, and from his witnesses, and he makes it happen.
And the beautiful thing, and what I love about our American justice system, is you're presumed innocent. You've got rights. We can go into a jury trial. I say to jurors, hey, does anybody think my client is guilty just because they're sitting next to me? And invariably, somebody raises their hand. It's beautiful because I say, you know what? How would you like it if you were on trial? And somebody had that mentality that just because the police arrest somebody, that means they're guilty? No, it doesn't work that way. You're entitled to have that presumption of innocence. You are entitled to be proved guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And if they can't do it, that's a not guilty. And I tell prospective jurors, I say, listen, before you were to find my client guilty, you had better have an abiding conviction of guilt. And that's the jury instruction for beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you cannot look back 10 years from now and say, you know what, I'm sure that person was guilty, then it is a not guilty verdict. That's the beautiful thing about our system, and I love it. So don't be sad, don't be upset, don't despair. It's time to stand up for yourself. It's time to hire an attorney that's going to fight for you and get you that result you must have. Isn't that what it's all about? I sit down with my client. I don't care how strong or weak the evidence is against him. I'm going to sit down and we're going to decide this is the result we need, and I'm going to go get it.